Lesson 13. Dunning-Kruger effect, the restraint bias, and the empathy gap. 1995, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. A man named MacArthur Wheeler decided to rob a bank. Instead of wearing a ski mask like other robbers, he smeared lemon juice on his face, packed his gun, and left home. His logic? Lemon juice can be used as invisible ink that becomes visible only when you hold the piece of paper close to a heat source. Hence, he concluded security cameras wouldn't see his face. It was broad daylight when he entered the bank and demanded money with a gun in his hand, but no mask. He then robbed a second bank. A few hours later, the police watched the surveillance tapes and displayed the robber's face on the evening news. An hour later, an informant identified MacArthur Wheeler. When he saw the police on his doorstep, a surprised Wheeler said, "But I wore the juice." You can't make this stuff up. Wheeler's genius robbery inspired two scientists from Cornell University, David Dunning and Justin Kruger, to research incompetence and inflated self-assessments. Their study resulted in the Dunning-Kruger effect, a cognitive bias in which a person's level of skill is directly related to how they estimate their abilities. Unskilled people overestimate their abilities, while highly skilled individuals underestimate them. To realize the limitations of his abilities, a person needs to improve the very same skills they believe they possess. A later study revealed the restraint bias. This results in people overestimating their ability to control impulses such as hunger, drug cravings, and sexual arousal. When you have an inflated belief about the ability to control your impulses, you are more prone to overexpose yourself to temptations. A third related bias is the hot-cold empathy gap. People who are in a cold state, for instance, they aren't hungry or aroused, tend to underestimate the power of impulses when in a hot state, when they are hungry or aroused. These three biases, the Dunning-Kruger effect, restraint bias, and hot-cold empathy gap, can affect your self-control. You'll assume you're more capable than you are, and go into situations expecting your willpower to keep you out of trouble. The solution to avoid this is to assume your self-control skills aren't as good as you think. Just as assuming you're not as smart as you think will make you spend more time making sure you're right, and thus avoid stupid mistakes. If you assume you have little self-control, you will avoid over-testing your willpower. You won't put yourself in situations that would trigger the biases in the first place. If you don't have to, don't test your willpower. It's probably less powerful than you think. And the end result, while it probably won't be as spectacularly stupid as robbing a bank with lemon juice smeared on your face, won't be beneficial to your resolutions and personal growth.